Member of the German Parliament for the AfD, Maximilian Krah. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. You're a leader in Europe. Tell us how you see this war between the United States and Iran.
I mean, I think it was a necessary evil. So we all don't want to have these endless wars in the Middle East, and we all hope that it would go to be a success much quicker. So meanwhile, it goes some weeks, and we see the problems, and we all hope that it will end very soon. But it's clear Iran is a threat to world peace, and sooner or later it was time to try to replace them and to bring the Iran on the right track.
Well, I'm curious because you've had people in your party really criticize the United States for getting into this war and even call for the removal of U.S. troops from Germany. Why is that a sentiment that has emerged out of some parts of the AfD?
I mean, look, all right-wing movements have a variety of opinions, and you know there is this idea of isolationism. So we do ours, everyone does theirs, and then there's peace on earth. But I think that's not how the world works. The world works that you need alliances, especially when you're a mid-sized country than Germany. So I think foreign policy has become very, very difficult, and it has changed dramatically in the last years. And even right-wing movements sometimes need some time to adapt to those developments. So I'm quite sorry, and I have to debate quite hard. But that's how it is, and not being absolutely up to date is obviously not an exclusive privilege of the left wing. So we also have our internal debates, and as far as I see, there are also some people in America in the movement that are not fully convinced. So good things will take time.
Yeah,
but
no,
they're the right side.
I think it's very interesting that both in Germany and in the United States, on the political right, there is a strong sense that foreign entanglements draw away from a nation's resources. And it's interesting that within the AfD, you may have a different perspective than some of the leadership of your party. You're certainly afforded that right as an elected official in your country. But then I wonder if you agree with President Trump's criticisms of NATO, that NATO is missing the opportunity to participate in this war. Do you wish NATO was more involved in combat operations against Iran?
I truly agree with President Trump and Secretary Rubio that the time of multilateralism is over. What we need is bilateral partnership. So all those structures are too slow. They are too much stuck in old way thinking. And we see the evidence now. NATO does not recognize that now it's the time to act and to take care on the Strait of Hormuz because we need energy. But I'm not very surprised by them. What we need is a new world order based on bilateral deals. This is what President Trump is pushing forward. So I think that the crisis we have now will make this transformation even quicker than it would have been otherwise. So we will have seen more bilateral deals, and we will have seen more bilateral alliances, and multilateral structures will phase out.
Well, it's very interesting you say that, because your country, Germany, has been put under a lot of multilateral pressure that has shaped some of your bilateral alliances. We look at this war between Russia and Ukraine. The international community put a lot of pressure on Germany to stop buying Russian oil. And indeed, a lot of that LNG was replaced by the Gulf states. Qatar did a massive deal with Germany to fill that inventory when Russia wasn't providing it because of the war. And now a lot of that fuel can't get out of the Persian Gulf into Germany. So are you worried that these wars between Russia and Ukraine and the United States and Iran could have a lasting impact on the prices that your constituents are paying for fuel?
Of course it has. But look, I'm opposition. That means I never shared this support for multilateralism. This is an escape of politicians that have no clue on how to manage bilateral relationships. First. Second, I always criticize the harsh way when it comes to Ukraine. I say we should join President Trump's efforts to make a deal between Ukraine and Russia. And if the Europeans, in particular the Germans, had supported Trump in his attempts to make a deal, we already had peace in Ukraine. It's the Europeans with their money and with their support of Zelensky who prevent the deal between the Russians and the Ukrainians, which would be managed by the Trump administration. So we are now in the trap. With us, we would have a deal in Ukraine, so we could come back to have a fair deal with Russia. The US offered that they could intermediate the transit of oil and gas, the war would be over and we would not sit in the trap. But now we sit in the trap because we pull the war in Ukraine, and on the other hand, we are not willing to do our share in getting the Middle East free and the Strait of Hormuz free. So it's a complete disaster of the government's foreign policy. Our position always was support the peace negotiations led by the Americans.
Some in the left-wing media are freaking out over this new contract between us at OANN and YouTube TV.
It's dangerous that One America News is being platformed on such a large digital streaming pay TV provider. You're freaking out about the fact that people have choice. You know, like people can't be allowed to hear what they have to say. OAN is not the only channel on YouTube TV. There's like dozens of them. So if you don't like what's being said here, we hope you stay, but there's many other things going on in the world. This is how the left operates, Alicia. They operate in censorship. Mm-hmm. They don't believe in choice and letting people do their own homework. This is the way the authoritarian left works. They don't believe in choice because they don't like the fact that we don't live in the 1960s anymore with 3 networks and your local newspaper.
We have to respect freedom of the press, the First Amendment, free speech. Remember that.
I want to begin tonight by welcoming and thanking all of our new viewers on YouTube TV. Overnight, One America News welcomed a potential 9.4 million new viewers on YouTube TV. So on behalf of everyone here at OAN, welcome to One America News. We are incredibly excited to have you.
This will allow all YouTube TV subscribers to enjoy 16 hours of live news coverage every single day, as well as all of AWE's lifestyle, travel, and family programming, and it will be available in YouTube TV's baseline package. Now, the Vice President and Global Head of Media at YouTube, Justin Connolly, said this about it. Our goal has always been to provide our subscribers with a wide range of content, which is why we're excited to bring One America News to YouTube TV. This partnership gives One America News access to our growing audience, while also giving our subscribers even more choice when it comes to news and entertainment. And we here at The Real Story are extremely grateful for the opportunity to now reach a wider audience. And we're also grateful for the time you give us each and every single day. And we're excited for the future at this amazing network.